Hey everyone, I'm Ted, and this is my rec room. And in my rec room, sometimes I play guitar. Not often, though. See if I remember this. Something like that. That's the blues shuffle. I butchered it for sure, Guitar is not necessarily my forte, but it's something I've been interested in picking up lately. I own an acoustic guitar, so I figured I should give it a try. And one of the motivating factors in me picking up my guitar, as well as being a lot more productive lately, is because I checked out a nonfiction book called Digital Minimalism. I actually listened to it on Audible, and the reason being is that I over the summer got so addicted to my phone that I couldn't even pick up a book and like read it through to the end, which is crazy. And something I used to be able to do a book a month, and I think just lately I've been kind of slacking and I've been distracted. And I think one of the things to understand is that it's perfectly normal in today's society to be distracted by your devices. And it's funny because I don't see myself as the kind of person that falls victim to that kind of thing, to devices and apps taking over your mental wavelengths and controlling you and subtly influencing you to always be on them. I don't feel like I'm not like that with Facebook necessarily, but somehow it still happened and I recognized it. And one of the reasons I recognized it is because I checked out this book. So I listened to this political commentator. His name is David Pakman. He's on YouTube, Apple Podcasts, all of the works. He's got a really good formula. I really like the guy. I really like what he says too. Everything's rooted in facts. And, he has his opinions and biases, but who doesn't? And he's aware of them. So I'm a member on his show. And on his webpage, you don't have to be a member to see this, but he has book recommendations. And I want to show them to you. This is actually how I found Digital Minimalism, was because he separates everything by fiction, nonfiction. And I was looking for good nonfictions to use, like just for myself, but also maybe for the kids. And lo and behold, one that interested me was here, Digital Minimalism by Newport. We're going to show you this in the synopsis, and then I'll just tell you some of the things I learned, some of the things that I took away, why I think it's a valuable book to have, and even a good audiobook. So, Digital Minimalism, choosing a focused life in a noisy world. So, minimalism is the art of knowing how much is just enough. Digital minimalism applies this idea to our personal technology. It's the key to living a focused life in an increasingly noisy world. And to have the year here, published February 2019, maybe. That might be right. That might not be right. But I personally really like this idea of digital minimalism and focusing, because I feel like, not just I feel like, I've noticed in myself that, I do love doing things like making videos on YouTube and gaming. And over the years, I've slowed down heavily on the amount that I game. I don't play as much. And, part of that is like work is tiring, and, it's difficult to maintain. But do you know how many times I picked up a game recently? I put an hour in, and then I just I go on to something else, or I play a game while listening to like a podcast or something, or whatever it is. I'm just distracted. And one of the things that Newport argues in the book is that we as humans aren't wired to always be wired. And although there are benefits that come with the technology, sometimes they can be outweighed by the consequences. For instance, a little thought experiment is, think of one social media app that you use. How would you attribute your emotions per percentage of time that you use that app? So like, say it's Facebook, right? Like, when you're on Facebook, what is your emotion when using Facebook over the whole course of the day that you use it? Sure, you might see a good post that makes you happy, but then also 90% of the time it's just conflicted negative emotions, people spewing things that you didn't necessarily sign up for the service for. And Newport asks you to rationalize to yourself, why are you on this service? How long are you on that service, using that service for that value, for that purpose, and does that make it worth it? What Newport proposes is that in order to counter this imbalance and also the fact that we're so torn between all of these apps, let alone just one that, produce these conflicting emotions in us, especially in our spare time, is to take a 30-day kind of like a cold turkey break, from any of it. And he argues that, okay, well, maybe you do have good friendships and relationships on these services, but those friendships can wait like 30 days. The friendship should not be so heavily impacted by you taking a break, especially if you let the people know too. And so I've done that. I've done that since September 1st. It's September 20th right now. And I want to talk about some of the successes and some of the failures for me. So I don't know that I've necessarily that I've gamed more. So my job started back up September. And, this is the perfect timing for this to focus more effort and time on my job, but also like not my spare time towards it either. And even though I started work back up, I remember distinctly a week where I had put out 4 unique videos on my personal YouTube channel, Majora T, along with the long form version as Majora T Speaks. And I think we also recorded several podcasts. I may or may not have edited 1 or 2 of them. I had put out a bunch of videos. I had played a lot more games. I had gotten through the audio book a lot. I have become more productive. And, Newport makes a great point, is that when you go to bed at night and you've produced something tangible and you've done something great for the day, then you go to bed a lot more satisfied than if you were like just tired from staring at screens all day and swiping. I have sensitive eyes, so it tires me regardless, but I end up looking at the screens anyway. And recently I've gone back to work and I've had to look at the computer screen too, when I'm on the job, and that's kind of difficult navigating that and my digital pleasures or whatever. And so I definitely like that principle resonated with me. Now, some of my failures, like I deleted most of the social media and even the news from my phone. But YouTube was something I kept toying with going back and forth with. And, there were days when when I got back to work where I was just coming back home and I was so exhausted and I was just like, I need something to look at. I need to watch something or whatever. So like I would re-download YouTube and I'd spend like an hour or two just looking at it. And it was, it's off my phone. It's been off for about a week now. But, I've realized that, just because I enjoy the service, regardless if it's, on the phone or on the desktop, if it's a matter of convenience, then I can wait and use it on the computer, because otherwise it's just another temptation on the phone to keep looking at. What happens when you first start this experiment is, if you're somebody that's really particularly victim to like falling into the trap of looking at your phone over and over again, or like whatever it is, refreshing pages or Gmails or whatever, you look at your phone, you boot it up, and you realize, I don't have any of these services anymore. And it's like, this is weird. You put it down, you pick it back up. Like, wait, why did I do this? It's like, it's become a natural instinct. Now, I've been, it's been tricky to follow everything that he's also said in the book. I can't necessarily go places without my phone. So when I've been going on walks, I've just been putting it in the backpack. But I've also kind of reformed my understanding of how to use my phone, so I feel more comfortable having it in my pocket and just not looking at it all the time. It's been kind of a nice thing because in the section of the book where Newport argues about like leaving your phone behind a little more often, he talks about how like, whether it's you're listening to music or you're, connected through these streaming services, it's a podcast or whatever, you don't really have time to think to yourself and just absorb your own thoughts and emotions. And it's not natural because like that's part of being wired all of the time. So I've experimented with that, and I've gone on more walks. So he says like, oh, just challenge yourself if you go to like the grocery store or something, or like you're running your errands, or you're driving to work. Challenge yourself like once a day or something to not like connect. And if you have to bring your phone, bring your phone. And that's been difficult for me, but I've been doing it. I've been enjoying going out and walking more, and just I at one point during the summer I tried meditating, like just close my eyes for 10 minutes and not think. It was a little difficult to do that. But I think this is the same principle, and it's nice to just be in your own headspace. Like just for a few moments, take the headphones out. Like I know it's really tempting all the time to be listening to something, but just like, self-absorb, understand yourself. And it's been healthy for me. It's been good. I've enjoyed it. I really like this book. Sometimes I even just go back and play segments just to listen back to myself and remind myself that, like, especially if I'm falling into that trap of, like to my devices, am I feeling too much screen time? It's something to be cognizant of. And I'm glad I've taken that journey. And I think it's helped me to understand myself better in a way that I can produce more effectively, do more, especially for things like YouTube that I really care about. Let me know in the comments, how are you with your devices? Do you find yourself falling victim to the capitalist corporate greed of these companies that make these apps that are designed to get you addicted to them? Or do you have a good balance over it? How much time do you put into your phone per day for like recreational purposes? And is it worth it? But that's it for me, Ted's Rec Room. I took a break from last week. I think I needed the headspace. I didn't want to fall into the scheduling trap. Not that scheduling is a bad thing, but like this is just kind of a fun channel. So let me know if you check out the book too. I think it's a worthy endeavor. It may help you reimagine yourself and your relationships in your life, and also your relationships with your devices. Thanks for watching. I'll catch you next time.